Hello and welcome to episode 31 of the Crochet Luna Vlogcast. My name is Claudia and I'm coming to you from the San Diego area in Southern California. It's been almost a month, I think, since I last recorded. I have officially been sick since February, so it's been completely up and down. I was really sick a couple weeks ago. It's still bronchitis issues and upper respiratory issues, but you can still hear it in my voice, and I'm still coughing a lot, but way more manageable than it's been since probably, I don't know, like 3 weeks ago. So I'm so happy to be here with you guys and recording this episode. Welcome to all of my returning viewers, and welcome to any new subscribers to the Vlogcast. I'm so happy you're here. I have lots of stuff to share, and so let's get to it. All right then, so we are in the month of May, so happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. And I had a pretty chill Mother's Day. Usually my favorite gift, the one that I ask for every year and have for the most part have received, is that for Mother's Day I just want to be left alone. I know it sounds weird, but I just want the day to myself, to be able to enjoy it the way I want to enjoy it. And so usually what happens is my husband takes the kids and they leave for the day, and then I get to do whatever I want. And that's the Mother's Day gift that I ask for every year. And I have to say, I really enjoy it. I don't have to worry about cooking meals or doing anything. I wake up late, I eat what I want, and I either sit in my pajamas and crochet and watch Netflix, or I just, bum around town a little bit here and there. And, it's just a complete me day, and I love it. So I had the same thing this year. My husband took the kids out, and what's nice is that he gets to go spend that day with his mom, and the kids get to see their grandma. So it all worked out really nicely. And gonna ask for the same thing for my birthday, although I don't know that that's gonna happen, because as I'm sitting here thinking about this, my birthday is June 5th, which is next week, which means my husband's not even gonna be in town. So scratch that thought. But anyway, just wanted to say that May was a super busy month, even though I was not feeling my best. I still had a lot of stuff to get done, and I did manage to crochet some stuff that I'm really excited to share. Arthritis wise, it's been up and down. Usually when I get sick, I tend to flare up. This time I flared up, but it wasn't that bad, so I was still able to crochet, which is great. And overall, I'm feeling much better. So looking forward to the summer and doing some family stuff. We're planning a little family vacation, and we'll see. So kids get out of school next week, so next week it's gonna be the real deal, 24/7, right? That's what's nice, when you have little kids and you send them off to school. At first you're like, oh no, you miss having them at home, but then it's like you get a couple hours back in your day, and it's like, it's so great. So now that the kids, my kids are 9 and 10, so they're in school full time, I get a big chunk of my day where I can do stuff, So summertime usually means that it's hectic around here. So we are going to sit down and plan our summer. I'm planning on doing curriculum with my kids and reading, and maybe a couple projects. My daughter is super into drawing. I want to see if I can get her painting this summer. And yeah, I have a lot of stuff going on, and I'm sure you guys do as well. So let's get started with this episode. The title of this episode is Alpaca My Bags. Last summer, my daughter's Girl Scout troop went to the Del Mar County Fair here in San Diego, which is our annual fair, to the flag raising ceremony. It's a ceremony that opens up the fair to the public, and what they do is Boy Scout troops and Girl Scout troops get together and they raise the United States flag and our state's flag. So we went to the fair that day, and I met Barbara and her husband, who owned a Simpler Time alpaca farm here in San Diego. And I had it in my mind all this time, and now it's almost a year later, that I wanted to take a tour of the alpaca farm, because they offer tours for you to come and see the alpacas and talk to them. And not only do they have a farm, they also have a fiber processing mill. So I was really, really interested in taking a tour of that facility. So I finally contacted Barbara and we scheduled a tour, and my mother and I went and met with Barbara and her husband and took a tour of the farm and saw the alpacas, and I got to meet some of the alpacas, some of the cria. Cria is what they call the little alpaca babies, and there were 2 alpacas that were getting ready to give birth, and they had at that day a total of 37 alpaca. So they breed alpaca to sell, and they breed them for their fiber as well, to process their fiber. And so it was really, really interesting to see all the different colors of alpaca. And also the really, really cool thing was to tour the mill, which is, it's not a big mill, it's a small mill, and they were processing alpaca fiber, merino. They had different kinds of wools there that they were processing. And when I talked to them, they said they had like, I think it was like a 4-month turnaround. So they were really, really busy. I have a couple pictures, more than a couple. I have some pictures that I took that I will post at the end of this little chat, that you can see some of the things that I saw that day. It had been raining the night before, and so it was really muddy, and the alpaca were a little muddy, but they were so, so cute. And one of the things that I wanted to share with you guys, because a lot of times we see, you know, all these cute things out that we purchase that are llama inspired, or that have llamas. And a lot of times people confuse alpacas for llamas. But once you know the difference, you will never confuse an alpaca for a llama. So I just wanted to share a little bit of what I have found out about the differences between an alpaca and a llama, so that you will know as well. Which was really funny, because when I went to the San Diego Yarn Crawl last year, we went to another alpaca farm here in San Diego, and I remember I picked up a little like a little fuzzy, it was like a stuffed animal that was an alpaca, and I know better. Like, I knew that was an alpaca, but what came out of my mouth was, oh, look, this cute little llama. And I swear there were daggers coming out of the lady's eyes telling me, that is not a llama, that is an alpaca. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I know the difference. I go, but I just, for some reason, llama came out of my mouth, and she was so offended. So here, here's a couple pictures. I'm going to show you guys a couple pictures of that I pulled up from the internet, and I will sorry about the cough. I will show you, and you can see the big differences between llamas and alpacas. To me, the llamas, which is here, look a lot more like a camel face. And their ears are a lot more pointy, and their face is a lot bigger. And then alpacas are more like, you know, they've got this little bit of tuft on top here, and their faces are a little bit more like squished in. So you can see a big difference between this llama face and this alpaca face. See, it's a big difference. Mainly, I see it here in the ears, and the fact that they don't have that little bit of hair over here. Now, the other thing about alpacas and llamas that you'll see is that the size difference is very significant. I have some facts here that I'll read to you. For example, alpacas can weigh up to 150 pounds. Llamas can weigh up to 400 pounds. So that's a huge difference. And that's because llamas were bred as working animals so that they could carry packs. And alpacas are bred mainly for their fiber. So it's a big difference as to what they're bred for. Now, alpaca fleece is a lot more luxurious and soft, and llama fleece is more coarse. And alpacas can learn tricks, and llamas can carry heavy packs. And alpacas need protection, and actually llamas serve as guards. They serve as herd guards. So sometimes people will have herds of sheep, and instead of having dogs to guard the pack, guard the flock, they will actually have llamas to guard the flock. So here's another picture where you can see the big difference between this really big alpaca. No, Claudia. This really big llama right here and this smaller alpaca. You see that? Even like the width of the back of the llama is so much bigger than the back of this alpaca. And again, see the ears? See how pointy the ears are? So it is quite a significant difference. So if you see the smaller animal with the little tuft of hair up here, that's an alpaca. If you see the bigger animal with the more pointy ears, that's a llama. Here's another example of the differences. So this is the llama. This is Huyakaya alpaca, which is a type of alpaca, and this is the Sturry alpaca. These are a lot more fluffier than the other ones. But what's really cute is I think that alpacas have this really, really sweet and cute face, and they're very timid. They're very docile. They're pack animals, so you would not want to just have one alpaca. You need to have at least a pair because they are pack animals, so they really are not meant to be just one alpaca on its own. The fiber is really nice. I have some samples here of naturally colored alpaca. See this very soft, beautiful color? This is the white. This is another alpaca color. They come in almost, I think I read, they can come in up to like 52 different colors. And yes, the fiber comes in more than 52 natural colors. Just here, I have 4 different colors of alpaca. I really love this color. I think it's gorgeous. And I also have a sample of llama yarn. So here's some llama. Oops. It's really pretty. It's still very soft, but it's not as soft and it doesn't feel as springy as the alpaca fiber. This fiber comes from Illimani. I'll show you the tag. There you go. And this is such a pretty color. So this is a natural colored llama yarn. So Barbara also dyes yarn, and I picked up some beautiful colors that day when I went to I picked these 3 up. Look at how beautiful those colors are. This is a worsted weight yarn. It is 70% baby alpaca, 30% silk. So you can imagine how soft this yarn is. It is just so luxurious. I want to make, I don't know, maybe a cowl or a shawl, because I picked these three colors to go together. I think this would be beautiful. It's worsted weight, so for the fall, I think, look at that orange and that yellow. Oh, she does such a beautiful job. I also found this really beautiful fingering weight baby alpaca. It's 100% baby alpaca that she dyed. I got 2 of those. I'm thinking shawl for these. Look at all those beautiful colors. There we go. Really, really beautiful colors. So I was going to go and help during shearing day. They were going to shear the sheep. They were going to shear the alpaca on a Saturday where it just rained horribly. So they canceled that day, and then the following Wednesday, I think it was, they were going to shear, and you can volunteer to go help. And I had told Barbara, I said, yeah, I would love to come out and help. I was so sick that day, I couldn't even get out of bed. So I had thought the night before, I'm like, okay, I think I'm okay. Woke up, it's horrible. I'm sure that I'll be back to the alpaca farm, and I'm hoping that I might be able to do an interview with Barbara so she can tell us more about the alpaca and how the mill is run. So it was so much fun, and I just see a lot more alpaca in my life. Next, I want to give you an update on the Bipod crochet designer link that is in my Instagram stories. Please go check that out if you haven't. I constantly add crochet designers as I see them pop up on my feed. If you know of any Bipod crochet designers that are not on the list that you think should be on the list, please let me know, and I will contact that designer to see if they want to be part of that list. As well as I wanted to remind you that the list is hosted by Faye of the Crochet Circle podcast on her blog, and she updates that list. I'm so happy that we have a resource where we can go look for BIPOC crochet designers to support. So like I said, I'm always on the lookout for a designer to add, so let me know. Also, I know probably a lot of you have already seen it, but if you haven't, I will put a link to the EYF diversity panel that was videoed and recorded, and that video is available for people to see, and it was really interesting to get an insight as to some of the things that have been discussed on Instagram, and just to add to the ongoing discussion of inclusion and diversity and racism, because that's something it's always there. It doesn't go away. I mean, I think that we have made some really positive steps forward. I can't just think that everything is negative and horrible, because I've seen some good things come out of these discussions, and so I am hoping that we can keep moving forward and keep discussing things and keep trying to make things better for everyone. So along those lines, I wanted to also share with you, if you don't know, about the craft bank that our own Lisa Raspberry started. It is on Ravelry. I will put a link to that, and that is a place where you can go to find yarn and accessories, like project bags and things that maybe are things that, in patterns for sure, that maybe were out of your reach, and they are now available to you because some people are donating patterns, and don't feel bad about it. Reach out. We want to share. A lot of us want to share what we have, and I have thought long and hard about how I can contribute to the craft bank. And what I've come up with is that I would like to open up spots in my schedule throughout the year to test crochet patterns for designers, and as a stipulation of me testing a pattern and taking pictures and doing the Ravelry page, which I'm more than happy to do, is that designer must donate a pattern or the pattern that I'm testing to the craft bank for someone else to try once it gets published. So I think that, because a lot of times what happens is I'll test a pattern, and not only have I gotten that pattern that I've tested for free, but the designer will say, well, you're welcome to another pattern from my website. Well, what I would like to do is take that offer that a lot of designers extend, and say, instead of giving me the free pattern, please can we extend that and have that free pattern be offered to someone that wants it in the craft bank. So please check the craft bank out. If you have things, for example, I've done a huge clear out of my craft corner. I donated 3 large garbage bags full of yarn to a charity, and I donated 2 more to my sister-in-law, Mary, who is starting to get the crochet bug, and I'm so happy to see her be excited about crochet. So I gave her some yarn that I just, I know now sort of what kind of yarn and how I want to work my crochet. Like I was very upset for a couple of days because I was finding patterns that I wanted to work, and I don't have enough quantities of that yarn to make it work. So again, the habit of buying the one beautiful skein is so bad. Like, if I buy 3 skeins of 3 different colors, I should have just bought 3 skeins of the same color, and then I could make something with it. So one of the things that I really so frustrated when I was rearranging the yarn and going through it is seeing how I don't want to say wasteful, because it's not wasteful, but how I have mismanaged my yarn stash, in the sense that now what I do is I find a pattern and I think, well, what yarn will work, instead of getting the yarn and finding a pattern for that yarn, which is what sadly I'm going to be stuck doing with a lot of these beautiful one skein skeins that I have. I'm going to have to just go find a one skein project for these yarns, because they don't even, like, I can't even make them work together. But for the most part now, I find the pattern, I look at the yarn, and then I'm like, oh, okay, let me just go buy the yarn for this pattern, because I think the designer suggests, I like it. If it's reasonable, then I will just get the yarn that the pattern was made from, or whatever, you know what I mean. It's like I'm more focused on the pattern, and then the yarn, and then the pattern. I can't even tell you how just frustrated I was going, I have this pattern for this shirt that I want to make, and I just did not have enough to make the shirt. So I've had to do some, I'll show it to you because it's one of my works in progress. I've had to kind of just Frankenstein it together. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. I mean, I guess I could say I'm fading it, but not really. Not really, people. I just had a little bit of this yarn and a little bit of that yarn, and I made it work. So anyway, so that's sort of like where I'm at. I'm moving forward. When I want to be able to have enough yarn to make something and not just buy that one beautiful skein, because it just is not work. It's not working. It's not working for me. So I have reduced my stash significantly, which I'm really happy about, because that yarn can now go somewhere and be enjoyed by many people, instead of sitting here in my house, just sitting here not doing anything. So now the other thing I want to talk to you guys about, I'm so thirsty, I'm so sorry, I just keep drinking water, because it finally got hot in San Diego, you guys. It rained and it rained some more, and it was cold, and it was overcast and miserable, and now we've got beautiful sunny skies, and all of a sudden I'm sweating buckets, and I'm drinking lots of water again, so it's all good. June 8th is what I'm calling Stitch in Public Day. I know a lot of people know it as Knit in Public Day, but we crocheters should be included in that, or cross stitchers, or anybody who works fiber. You should be part of this great global event. So I'm calling it Stitch in Public Day. And I have made, we haven't met yet, but I saw Karen of the Katie Gecko Knits podcast. I first saw her on the Christy Glass interview that she did in New York. And so I liked her energy, and I started following her on Instagram, and I was following her subscribed to her podcast. And so she put out a call out to see if anybody wanted to knit in public. And I said, I'm in San Diego and I'm willing to drive to LA. So, I'm all for it. And all of a sudden it was like, hey, let's put this thing together and see who wants to go and join us. So on June 8th, between 12 and 3, we will be at Griffith Observatory, which, if you are in California, anywhere near Griffith Observatory, you should come. It's a gorgeous landmark. It is a beautiful place to hang out, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Bring your own lunch, bring a blanket, and bring your project, and we're just going to crochet or knit or do whatever fun fiber thing that you want to do. I may have a couple of friends coming who don't, one of them doesn't even know how to crochet, and I said, I'll show you. I'll bring stuff and we'll crochet. So remember that June 8th between 12 and 3. I will put a link to the video that Karen made where she gives you a lot more specific details, because I know parking may be an issue. I believe she said if you want to park at the observatory, it's $8 an hour. Or you can park, and I forgot the name of the place, and then you just park there, and there is a shuttle that will take you to the observatory, and it's 50 cents each way. So for $1, you could technically get to the observatory, hang out with us, and not have to pay $24 for 3 hours to crochet or knit or stitch, whatever you want to do that day with us. I may, if I have time, make a little stop at Portos. If you know what Portos is, which is a Cuban restaurant / bakery that makes the most heavenly desserts, then you'll definitely want to come, because if I have time, I will stop by either the Glendale one. I think it's the Glendale Portos. Yes, I might stop there and pick up some goodies, bring them to Stitch in Public Day to share with anyone who wants to come hang out with us. I know Karen says she'll be making some stitch markers. I will probably have some buttons for swag, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Come out and hang out with us. Here are some Cal updates. So happy with Sock Theme Cal. You guys are knocking it out of the park. It's amazing, and so satisfying to see so many people doing making socks. The first quarter winners have already claimed their prizes. We are now in quarter 2. I'll read you the themes. So April is When It Rains It Pours. May is All in Bloom, and June is Seeing the Bright Side. So you still have a chance if you enter socks for April, May, and June to qualify to win a pattern for the second quarter. Now remember, you can start this cal at any time. You can still do January socks in May. You can do April socks in September. I don't care. If you do 12 pairs of socks that follow each theme, at the end of the year, you will be entered into a grand prize drawing. So the grand prize drawing is going to be pretty nice. So if you end up with 12 pairs of socks, not only will you have 12 pairs of socks, but you will be entered into a nice prize at the end of the year. So it'll be like an extra Christmas prize, maybe, an extra Christmas present, maybe. So yes, so please go ahead and keep posting your projects in the Ravelry thread. That Ravelry thread will be linked below. And then we also have the Dodgy Bag Mal. It's becoming one of my favorite longs that I've hosted for the second time with the lovely Allie of Little Drops of Wonderful. I see the energy that people in their posts when they say, oh my gosh, it's got me sewing again. Oh my gosh, I have a stash of fabric and I'm making all these bags. And then the bags this year are blowing my mind. You guys, okay, last year was fantastic. Don't get me wrong. Last year was fantastic. This year, you guys are doing patterns. You guys are just making so many more bigger, more experimental, just wonderful bags. And I wanted to remind you that there is a charity component. This year I have picked the Hispanic Scholarship Fund. So with the sale of the Dodgy Bag pin, which I have just dropped on the floor, here's the pin. You can find that pin on my Etsy shop. I will be donated 100% of the sale of this pin, minus the shipping, to the Hispanic Scholarship Fund. It was a fund that was established in 1975, and it awards scholarships of between $500 and $5,000 to students of Hispanic descent to help them in their higher education. And so I have chosen that charity to donate. What happens is that this pin is usually on sale all year, and I will pick a date where I feel like, if I raise $20, $25, I think that's a decent donation to give. So I will go ahead and, you know, find that spot where I've hit that mark, and then I'll send a donation. I will put a link let you guys to know the website for the Hispanic Scholarship Fund if you want to get more details on that. I am really happy to be supporting this this nonprofit, because I know that when I went to college, I did receive some scholarships that were for Latinos, and I benefit from some of that, and I am happy to give back to help someone else go to school and get their degrees. So now, in terms of the dodgy bags, I have made my own dodgy bag, and I will show you what I have made. This is my sushi bag. It's one of my big bags that I make. It's missing the drawstring right here, which I'll be putting. And the reason I'm calling it dodgy is because I forgot to put my tag on the inside, so it doesn't have a tag. And I mean, it's not perfect, but I will be putting this up in my Etsy shop. By the time this episode airs, this will be in my Etsy shop. So if somebody wants to buy my dodgy bag, you can purchase my dodgy bag. It's nice and big. Like I said, this is like the same, it's box bottom. And the fabric is made out of this really soft fleece with happy little sushi on it. See that? I thought this was really cute. And yeah, I'm also going to be working from patterns that I bought. I showed you on, if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen some of the patterns that I have purchased, but I've chosen to go with either this bag here, or I'd like to make this bag up here from this pattern. So this, I may make one from here and one from here. I just might pick one, it depends. Because I forgot to tell you, the dodgy bag mail has been extended until June 30th. Allie contacted me and said, hey, would you be interested in extending? And I said, absolutely. And I know a lot of people are really happy about that. So keep making bags, keep sharing them and posting them on Instagram and on Ravelry. And at the end of June, I will close that thread, and then I'll go through it and we'll choose some winners for some really nice stuff. I know that for me on my end, I will probably be giving one of these patterns to some winners. I have patterns for bags that I picked up, and so I think this would be a great part of the prize. So I will be including a pattern, not this one, because this one I got on sale and I think it's not complete. So yes, so the winner or winners, I may choose more than one, will get a nice prize package. So keep putting your bags in the Ravelry thread. Let's talk finished objects. If you notice, I've had a little bit of a change of the angles. I had to take a little bit of a break, but I'm back now. Hopefully I can wrap this up. I have two finished objects, and the first one, again, if you follow me on Instagram, you have seen it. It's my beautiful Maya shawl. This is a beautiful, beautiful pattern that I saw in Inside Crochet magazine. It's this one right here. As you can see, my dog tried to eat it, but it's this one right here, and I believe it's issue 109. The pattern was written by Helda, Panagary. This is the picture from the magazine, and it is a beautiful construction that uses mohair and merino. So you alternate stripes of mohair with stripes of merino, and this very last section, you basically combine the merino and the mohair. It's actually my favorite section in the whole shawl. I love, love, love the way that the merino and the mohair combine. I mean, I really, really love this shawl. And I tell you, the reason that this project is special to me, because it's the way I approached it, because I had never worked mohair by itself. It was really intimidating. And I had started off, and I I messed up the pattern. It was not the pattern's fault. I read it wrong, and I tried to frog the mohair, and it was almost impossible to do it. So what I did is I set up the project on my desk, and I worked on it at night before going to bed, very methodically, sometimes only for a couple rows. Sometimes I would just say to myself, you know, if I could just do one stripe, I'll be happy. It was very mindful crochet. It was very reflective crochet. It was really, really nice. I love the process of crocheting this shawl, and I love the finished object. It's so airy. It's so just, it's like nothing I have, you know, it's just so light. I really, really love it. Now, the yarn I bought when I went to Stitches West, and it was yarn that I purchased from Christina of the Chelsea Yarns podcast and the Chelsea Yarns shop. If you have seen their podcast, they're really lovely ladies, Christina and Miriam, who host that podcast. I will put a link in the notes to their podcast. They have one out every Thursday. Almost every Thursday, they will put a fun little podcast out. Christina dyes all the yarns, and I could not be happier with this shawl. I really, really love it. I loved working on it, and I discovered that the mohair was, you know, I thought it was such a delicate fiber. I thought, God, I'm so afraid I'm going to snap it as I was pulling it, trying to frog it that first time. But really, the mohair is very strong. It's an incredibly strong fiber. For how wispy it is, do you see that? How thin and delicate it is. It is a very, very strong fiber. And so I learned a lot with this project. I learned not to be afraid of working with different fibers. I learned to trust the pattern maker and just go with the flow. I made these cute little tassels that are part of the pattern, which I really love. And I just really enjoyed this project. I can't recommend it enough. It's a beautiful, beautiful shawl to have. Way too hot to be handling it right now when it's so hot, but I'm sure when it gets cold, or if I go somewhere cold, this thing will keep me warm. So this is the Maya shawl with that I worked using Chelsea yarns, their Luxe and the mohair, and it is one of my favorite makes this year, I have to say. I really, really enjoy it. Now, my second make I love, because you guys know well my struggles with trying to get garments to fit, get garments to look a certain way, and how sweaters have just been really, really irritating me because they're not fitting right. So I kind of put sweaters in the back burner. It's getting hot, so I wanted tops, short sleeve tops. And the minute I saw this top, which I showed before, I knew I was going to make it. And having met a designer at Stitches West, I so much more enjoyed making this top. It's called the Rosalba, the Spring Sleeveless Top by Skeins and Sticks Design. This is a paid pattern. This is a designer actually modeling her pattern. And here's the name of the pattern. Like I said, this is a paid pattern, but very easy to follow, very well written. I happen to have the exact yarn that she requested for the pattern, that she used to make the pattern. And I had enough of it. I did not go buy anymore. And I could not stop working this top. The minute I started, could not put it down. And this is my Rosalba sleeveless top. I'll give you a close-up of the fabric. It's this really beautiful lacy fabric. You can see there. I have not blocked this because right now this is fitting so well. I did a photo shoot where I put it with a pair of pants that I really like, and it looks great. I really, really recommend this pattern. I recommend that if you're looking for a pattern for something nice and lacy, not complicated, this is a wonderful pattern. I'm all about making short sleeves tops right now, and so this one fit the bill perfectly. And so this is my second FO, the Rosalba. There is a project page on Ravelry for this pattern if you want to see some of the details and some of my notes. The yarn that this pattern calls for is the Cotton Fair yarn, the Premier Cotton Fair. It's this one right here. I just happen to have, you know, I even have an extra one, exactly this yarn that she used for the top, and it's turned out really, really well, and I'm really, really happy. I'm not used to taking pictures of myself, but I really wanted to show this garment off, and the response to the pictures was amazing, and I want to thank everybody who said such lovely things about those photographs, because I'm not comfortable in front of the camera. I'm trying to get more comfortable, and it was difficult. It was hard. It was hard, but I did my best, and I got good response, and so I'm really, really happy that I have this top done, and I have this gorgeous shawl for the fall. Let's talk works in progress. I have two that I'm working on right now, and the first one is a tunic that I will probably be using in the fall as well, because I'm trying to work through stash. I'm really focused on working through some of my stash, and some of it is acrylic. And so I chose this one because I love the look of it. I can already see that I'm going to make another one that I can wear during the summer, during the heat. But this particular one, what I have in mind is to make it and wear it in the fall, on top of like long sleeve shirt. It's called the Wildflower. Wow, guys, I can't talk. Can't talk. The words, they're in here, they're not coming out. Okay, let's refocus. The name of the pattern is the Wildflowers Tunic by One Dog Wolf. This is a paid pattern. This is what it looks like. As you can see, that's the name of the pattern. It's really, really a beautiful pattern. And I happen to have some Vanna's Choice, a lot of it actually, and I wanted to start using it up. I don't have a lot of other colors, but I did have a lot of this yellow for some reason. And so it goes like this. So this is the motif, and as you can see, it's pretty long. It's almost like a blanket. If I kept going, this could be an awesome baby blanket. So you make 2 panels and you seam it up, and you have a tunic. So I can see myself wearing this with like a long sleeve shirt and some leggings and some boots. I think it would be really cute. I really love this really pretty motif that you make. Very simple, well-written pattern. As you can see, hers comes up to here. Mine's way longer. And that's because I didn't get gauge, and I'm not using the yarn that was recommended, which is okay. I'm okay with it. I need to get some of this yarn used, and I'm really interested in making garments right now. So this is my second FO. No, this is my first FO. My second FO is a pattern that I am absolutely in love with. I hope everybody can make this pattern. This is the second one I make. The first one I can't show you because it's part of a bigger project that I'm working on, but I loved it so much that I am making a second one and have plans for a third one. And that is the Simply Seamless Crochet Tee by Shannon Creates. This is the pattern. It is also a paid pattern. It's this little I'll show you some more pictures. Little T, you know, crop tops are really hot right now, and I'm loving seeing all these great crop tops in so many different body shapes. I am convinced that everybody can rock a crop top. Now, this one here can be made any length, so you can see that this is kind of cropped, but she also has a picture of the top in a little bit longer length, and I think it looks wonderful. So I'm making mine again with Stash Yarn, and these are all Lion brand Vanna's Choice scraps. So this is my second top. How nice that stitch looks. And what I did is I'm trying to do like a fade thing, but I'm calling it more like a Franken fade, because I'm just winging it basically. So like I said, I'm at the sleeves, and I'll be working the decreases and getting a nice shape. The first one that I made fits amazing, amazing, amazing. I can't tell you, like, I put that last one, the first one that I finished, I put it on, and I almost cried because everything about it fit. And I know I'm teasing you guys with it. It's coming up soon. I will be sharing it, but I'll be sharing this one as well, and you'll see it's a great fit. It really is. So this is my second FO. This is the Simply Seamless Tee by Shannon Creates. This is the pattern right here. As always, I will have all of the links for these patterns in Ravelry in the bundle section. Go to my Ravelry, the Crochet Luna podcast Ravelry page. You'll see on the upper right hand side bundles. For every episode where I show patterns, I will link all of the patterns that are on Ravelry in each of the bundles. So if you look for episode 31 bundle, you'll see all of the patterns that I'm talking to you guys about in that bundle. So the next one is just to give you an update that I have not progressed on my Wonder Woman shawl, and the reason is that this shawl requires a lot of concentration. I have not been in that space. Mentally, I just have not been in that space. I even frogged. I mean, I have frogged this so many times. I'm really actually a little bit frustrated with this pattern, but I'm just not in the mental space to work it, and I just have to find a quiet weekend to just get in the groove and get this done, because like I said, this is going to be a gift for someone, and I'm anxious to get it done. I also wanted to show you that my Wonder Woman shawl is living in my beautiful wax canvas bag that I got from Faye of the Crochet Circle podcast. I love this bag. And one of the things that I forgot to do last episode was to share this awesome pin. And I love this pin. This pin was sent to me by the lovely Sharon of My Crochet Makes. She has a shop where she sells these pins and mugs, and they're really unique in her design, so I really love it. They're made out of wood. I also received some pins from Faye from her trip to Barcelona, and this is one of them right here, and it is in it's in Spanish. It says basically one more row, and I'll leave it, but you know we never do that. So this is my bag that my Wonder Woman shawl lives in for now, which I really have to work on. Now let's see what else. My last whip is one that I'm really excited about. As I've been telling you, I'm really excited about making some tops, and crop tops are hot right now, and I happen to catch Nancy Ricci, who is getting pearly with it on Instagram, and saw that she was running a cowl for one of her patterns, and it's such a lovely pattern that I thought I am going to try to knit it. And it's called the My Boy Lollipop sweater. So many of these have been made. It's just been a hot pattern, and Nancy is a lovely, lovely person. I have asked her questions directly. I have sent her photos of my swatches, and she's helped me to figure out if I'm getting gauge or not, because I'm still, I'm so new to knitting that I'm like, did I get gauge? What's going on? And she's been really helpful. So it's called the My Boy Lollipop. This is a knitting pattern. It is a paid pattern on Ravelry. That is Nancy on the cover. And she's made about 8 of these My Boy Lollipop sweaters. And they all look fantastic. If you check out the hashtag My Boy Lollipop sweater, you will see so many versions of the sweater. It's so versatile. Some people make it a little bit longer. Some people have made the sleeves a little bit longer. I just thought, let me try and get gauge for this. I'm not going to try and not do it the right way. And I first thought I would do it with some Ching fibers that I got at Loop London. When I went to the UK last year, I went to Loop London. They had some Ching fiber, and I picked this up, which I thought was so beautiful and bright. And I did my swatch, which look how beautiful that is. So many colors. It's so bright. I thought this is going to look fabulous. Did not get gauge. So then I'm also thinking I don't even have enough anyway. So I was going to mix it with some other stuff. But then I remembered I had the Miss Babs Yowza. And I caked it up. Got this big old cake in the colorway Alpaca on You. Look at these colors. They're so, so beautiful. And Nancy said go up a needle size, and so I did. Here's my swatch. And I got gauged. So I was so happy. I was so happy I got gauge. I'm like, holy cow. I'm halfway there. I was so happy that I was able to do that. You have no idea. I had to turn the fan on, you guys. I was dying back here. So I'm sorry if you hear that the mic's picking up that noise, but it's just really, really hot right now. But one of her, I think it was her first video she did to launch her Crocheting May series. She did a giveaway of We Are Knitters, 2 kits from the We Are Knitters company, and I won. And I was so excited because I have always wanted to try We Are Knitters. I've always wanted to try their kits, and I just haven't been able to. And now I get to make this gorgeous top by We Are Knitters, and it's called the Veritop. And the kit comes with everything you need, and I chose the terracotta color, which is a beautiful cotton that they have. Look at this color. It's just to die for. Absolutely gorgeous. I am dying to get into this, but I'm not going to do it until I finish the seamless top and the tunic. But you get your pattern. Comes in a nice, brochure. And you get, I chose the extra large size, so I got 5 balls of the yarn. You get the crochet hook for the size that they asked for in the pattern. And you get the needle to, weave in your ends. You get stickers, which I think my daughter has already taken. And then you get a cute little label that you can put on your garment when you're done. So I was so excited to win this, that the poor lady who sent me the email from We Are Knitters at it was midnight my time. I was sending her messages. It was 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, oh, I want this one. I want this color. And anyway, I was so excited, and I got it the following week. And I have had this on my desk, and I've just been longingly looking at it, going, soon, I'm going to start this soon, because this stuff is gorgeous, and I I'm so excited. You know what I don't have in my stash? I don't have any cotton in my stash. What I have is not suitable for garments, and I don't have more than a couple balls of any one color, if that. So this 100% cotton garment will be the first one that I make. The one that I made, the one that I used, the yarn that I used for this is actually a 50-50. It's cotton and I think it's cotton and acrylic. Let me check. Yeah, it's 52% cotton, 48% acrylic, which feels really soft. Don't get me wrong, it feels really soft, but this one will be my first 100% cotton garment, and I'm really, really excited to be able to work with it. Now, I have some exciting pattern palooza, and I'll tell you why. I came out of a really dark place in crochet when I was trying to make sweaters that were not working. I was not happy. And I have come out of that dark place into this beautiful meadow of sunshine filled with crop tops and just beautiful crochet tops. And so I'm really excited to share this pattern palooza for this episode is going to be all about tops. And I will show you the first one. The first one is called the Bobble Crop Top. This is so freaking cute. This is the name of it. It is a free pattern. And this is the picture of it. It's got these cute little bobbles in the bottom part right here and in the neckline, as you can see. Super cute. The Bobble Crop Top by Rachel Meisner. It's a free pattern. This pattern I did purchase because I will be making it. It's called the Batwing Top by Liz Salazar. This pattern is not available on Ravelry. I purchased this pattern on Etsy after seeing it on Instagram. It's a $3 pattern. So reasonable. But it's a corner to corner top. Look how cute that is. I love the sleeves on it. This is the maker. This is on her blog. It's on Etsy. Now you see where I put here, I put paid and free pattern. That's because this pattern is free on her blog, but if you want the ad-free pattern like this, the way I have it, you pay $3. It's totally worth it. Next pattern is by Rachel Nguyen. And she is a prolific crochet designer. I really enjoy her stuff. I made her enchanted cowl last year, or this year? When was it? I made this really beautiful cowl, and if you go to her Ravelry store, you'll see she's got lots of gorgeous designs. This is the deep sea top and what I like about Rachel's patterns is she'll have the pattern to certain sizing, and she'll have the plus sizing. So I have the women's plus sizing here. This is the top. It's got beautiful lace. Here's I think this was one of our testers. It's called the Deep Sea Top, and it is a paid pattern. The next one is the Autumn Top by Alyssa Sacomano, I think. You guys know I'm not good with names. It's a beautiful pattern. It is also a paid pattern for a short sleeve top. It looks gorgeous on her. I love it. There's a couple more pictures. This is the name of the pattern. And this is a paid pattern. Next is the Totem Tee by Nomad Stitches. I have talked about her before. I have 2 of her patterns that I want to make, and I may make this one because it is so cute. It is also a paid pattern. It's this little crop top with they're bobble stitches, I think, and some open lace work. Look how pretty that is. Oh, it's just so cute. I believe this is the designer right here. So, Totem Tea. And I'm really happy to share this pattern with you guys. I hope you make it. I will be making a Las Nubes top by our own Clarissa Beth. This is her pattern. Look at how beautiful she looks. Look at her beautiful detail at the bottom, that pineapple stitching. This pattern is intense. It's got many pages. She's got a photo tutorial. It's beautifully laid out, and this is a paid pattern. Totally worth it though. Look at that, so pretty. Las Nubes by Clarissa Beth of the Crochet Cakes podcast. Now I also have a free, this is not a top, it's just more like a little like short sleeve shrug, like long shrug. You'll see it, I don't even know what you call this, but it is a free pattern. It's a vest. There you go. This is the name of the pattern. This is the pattern. It's really cute. I think this is perfect for summer. I really like this pattern for summer. So since this is a free pattern, I will show you that the motif lace part of it doesn't look very complicated. Looks like it's worked in 3 pieces maybe. But this is a free pattern. You will find those links in that bundle that I told you about. And that's it. That's what I have. I am working on some other things that I will be really happy to share soon. I am hoping to be back sooner rather than later. But like I said, kids are getting out of school next week and summer is upon us. And we have some travel plans coming up. And I am Crochet Luna on Instagram, Ravelry, Facebook, I was going to say my blog, but my blog doesn't exist right now. I'm working on that. So if you want to know what I'm up to, the best thing to do is follow me on Instagram, because I tend to do most of my social media posts are on Instagram, and my updates are on Instagram. I'm working on a big Etsy update as well that I'm hoping to have by the end of June. Except for the sushi bag. The sushi bag should be in the Etsy shop by the time this episode is out. And like I said, the only problem with this bag is that I did not put my tag in it. And everything else is just, it's just nice. Thank you again for watching and subscribing and hitting that like button. And remember to be kind to each other. We don't know what battles people are fighting, so let's be kind. And as May having been, because by the time this airs will be at the end of May, and it was Mental Health Awareness Month, let it not just be something that we are aware of one month, but be aware that people are fighting these invisible battles every day of the year, 365. It's not just one month. And so let's be kind, like I said. To everybody else, I just want to say, as always, thank you so much for reaching out and sending me messages. Thank you so much for the support that you have given me for these last 2 years. Life has become very hectic for me, and one of the reasons I stopped working full-time was because working full-time was very stressful on my body, dealing with my chronic illness. And I'm finding that I am piling so much stuff on because I love fiber, I love crochet, I love yarn, I love designing pins, I love being active on social media with you guys. I love all these things, but at the end of the day, I've taken sometimes too much, I think, and my body just, there's no room, there's no wiggle room. It just says no. And so I think that for the summer, because it's a summer month and people are very busy, that I will be taking a little bit of a step back to commitments and things that I'm doing, because it's been really rough being sick since February, trying to get better, trying to catch up, and never seeming to catch up. And so I want to enjoy my crochet. Not that I haven't been enjoying it, don't get me wrong. I want to enjoy taking my time with my crochet. I want to put out episodes that you guys will enjoy with good content. That's really important to me. I've always had that in mind for my podcast, that what I want is I want to celebrate crochet, open new doors, and expand our crafting abilities. I think that that's how you grow, and you can see how creative you can be. So I'm not one to get stuck in a rut. I don't like that, and that's why I'm always looking and searching. But I'm also feeling a little drained. I'll be honest with you. I'm feeling a little drained physically, and I have to take a step back. I have to not go so crazy with this right now. I have something really big that I'm working on. I will be sharing that with you. I think it will be a nice complement to podcasting. It's going to be big. And so I'm hoping that this new venture that I'm working to establish will be something that interests you. And once I'm there and I'm ready to present this to you guys, which I'm really excited about, I think it will be a game changer. Yeah, for sure. I think it will be a game changer. And so that's the last big project that I'll be working on, and I will come back and share those details. I wish I could say something right now, but I can't. Yeah, it's exciting. So thank you so much. I am sending you good vibes. Take care of each other, and I will see you next time. Bye.